Record-ology.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Okay, this is a first. Here's the box. You'll notice there's no plastic on it. That's because I already opened it. And why did I open it? Because I thought it was a different product. And I opened it, I was doing the show, I'm getting going on the theme of what I thought this was. And I opened the lid and it wasn't what I thought it was, which is funny. But, you know, I go out on a limb on this show. I do some goofy stuff, but I don't want you guys to know how goofy it can be, right? By the way, quick aside here. Thank you to everybody who voted in our poll today about where you prefer I film. We are here at the workbench still tonight. It's snowing out. It's dark. And there were some other projects going on in the kitchen, so I couldn't film in there. Plus, I'm doing one of these things, filming right before I go to bed because it's been a crazy day. We spent 6 to 7 hours driving back and forth to the vet today because our dog was coughing, and it turns out that she's fine. It's no big deal, but the way it works now is you have to drop the dog off, come back, wait there for hours and hours. So I was dealing with that all day, and we finally got home, and I'm like, you know what? Let's do some Record-ology. But anyway, that's why I'm late. So I will try to do more shows in there when it makes sense and it's appropriate to do so. Now, I can't do everything in there, but I'm going to try to do more. All right, tonight we're talking about Walkmans. So, and I use Walkmans as, like people say, Kleenex and tissue. It's just not a synonymous word, but I'm talking about portable cassette players. Now, we've talked about all of these separately, so I'm not going to re-review any of them. I want to tell you what I like and dislike about each one of these rapid fire. I love this because I've got incredible sentimental attachment to it, and it's a solid performer. The only thing downside about it, and it's not even that big of a downside, is it is a bit noisy. This is a Tyler unit we reviewed. It's very similar to the Jensen, still being sold under different brand names. This one is a complete loss. It doesn't work whatsoever. By the way, this one is, of course, a stereo, high fidelity, vintage 80s unit or early 90s. This is modern. It's going to have the mono Tanishin mechanism. And by the way, I was not expecting all the hate. Not hate. But people weren't that enthusiastic about that boombox last night that I thought they would be. And it was kind of like really upset about the mono tape head. It honestly doesn't matter to me because I use these in a different way. I guess I listen to this one does have stereo, by the way. So this is a modern, and this one, the way it opens makes it really easy to film. This is an auto reverse deck that has stereo, which is cool to see. This is also sold under a ton of different brand names. And I actually don't have much I don't like about this unit. I did have the play button pop off once, and I had to go and glue it back on, but that was about it. I mean, it feels, this is plastic, and I like the fact that the battery is hidden under the tape plinth or whatever you would call that. I don't really have a lot negative to say about this. It is kind of loud again. I need to adjust the pitch on this. It does have the USB power, or you can run it off batteries. This is a pretty good unit. But anyway, yeah, people were not happy. They're not having it when it comes to mono tape heads. I personally, because I listen to movie audio or I'm listening to stuff in bed at night, I'm not sitting there waiting for a cassette hi-fi experience. If I were, I'd probably use the Sharp. Then it came to this guy, the Retekess, and it has again, a kind of a Tanishin type of mechanism. Although this one's a bit different, a little bit different. It is going to be a mono head again. Is this a mono head? No, this is a stereo. Is this a dual? This might be an auto reverse mono head. It's hard to see. Yeah, I think it's an auto reverse mono head. But it's got a built-in speaker. And I know Tecmo did a video trashing one of these, not this exact model, but a similar type of unit. This one works pretty dang good. Again, it's a little fast, as many of the newer units are. So when we came to the Retekess unit, and I was pretty dang happy with it. It's got a microphone. You can use as dictation, AM, FM radio. It's got a cool appearance, I think. The reason why these have the antennas is because if you have a speaker, you're going to unplug your headphones and then you need an antenna. Whereas these don't have speakers, therefore your headphone cord is the antenna. That's why, if you ever wondered why, it's always because in the presence of a speaker, you need that. But they have a slightly different variant, and that is what we're going to review. So yeah, I unboxed this thinking we were doing a totally different product, and I quietly boxed it back up, and I was like, okay, time to restart this show. Was not expecting to see what I saw. But this is cool. I'm actually a bit more excited about this. So let's see what we got in here. Looks kind of similar to that, doesn't it? But not quite. It is by Retekess again, which you already know. I love it when people try to do a big reveal in a YouTube show, and it's like, well, I saw the thumbnail. I already know what you're talking about. This is an AM/FM cassette recorder, and it's in white. I love that. I don't know. It just looks cool. It looks cool. It's probably, I'm at a point in my life where I like white electronics. I don't know. I typically like 90s tech, which is very typically black, but this I like. I think some of this stuff is really cool. I want to see if these speakers are identical. So let's look at both of these kind of side by side. Motors in the same place. The mechanisms, to me, are a little different. So this is not a reverse deck. It's got the record head. This one is interesting. This deck right here, I never noticed this, doesn't have the blue record or the blue erase head. That would be like over here, kind of where that pinch roller is. It's got 2 cap stands and 2 pinch rollers because it's dual direction. But it is record. So I wonder if that's the... Or is that a tape guide? And where's the erase head? Interesting. This one has a typical fixed magnet that angles up and out of the way, although this one looks like it's just up, so it must come down. Yeah, so when you engage the record, it comes straight down. And let's see, I know you guys want to know, is it stereo or mono? It is mono. So kind of hard to see, but that is indeed a mono head there. And again, for me personally, I know a lot of you guys are like, that's unexcusable. But for me, I don't really care, honestly. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, on and off. I mean, AM, FM, microphone input, headphone input. It's a cool little unit. So let's go ahead and pop some batteries in there and go to town. This is interesting. Look at that. Oh, I thought I saw another motor over there. Guess that wouldn't make any sense, would it? Pretty tight fit with the batteries. Let's start with the AM FM. Start on AM here.
Back with us, internationally acclaimed medium, paranormal investigator, writer, speaker. His abilities manifested
So you're not gonna blow your socks off with that speaker, but it's not intended to do so. I mean, this is kind of like while you're having your lunch break, you want to listen to some radio without putting headphones on. And let's go to FM. Digital tuner. You can tell by that clipping instead of the static noise. Reception seems better on FM than AM. It goes really low, down to 76. Here in the United States, that is a bit low. Our stuff isn't going to start until about 88, 87. Okay, so there's a classical station. That's a tuning issue. That's not a speaker issue, I don't think. Good grief. And that's the downside to a digital tuner, is there's not much leeway. I mean, you can't really, you know what I mean? You're kind of stuck with what you get. Let's put the headphones in, and I'm going to test this on these other speakers here. Holy cow. Sounds good. Sounds fantastic. No, it sounds really, really good, actually. Sounds really good. Okay, well, the radio seems to be fine. Interesting that this has... Both of these record. This one's got a mic, and I think we proved you could record off the radio, for those of you that would like to do that. It says power supply too, 4.5 volts. And this one, though, doesn't have the microphone. Wait, no, it does. There's a mic. It does have a mic. Let's get a test tape out and verify that. Okay. Let's go ahead and put the official Record-ology test tape in there. And I'm just going to do a voice recording. Okay, this is a test of the Retekess TR606 cassette tape recorder in white. I think it looks pretty dang handsome, actually. I think it looks pretty good. I'm speaking about 12 to 15 inches from the unit itself, testing the fidelity. Surely this will only be good for dictation. That's all I would expect for it, but hopefully you can understand that clearly. Okay, and let's see what we get.
TR606 cassette tape recorder in white. I think it looks pretty dang handsome, actually. I think it looks pretty good. I'm speaking about 12 to 15 inches from the unit itself, testing the fidelity. Surely this will only be good for dictation. That's all I would expect.
And that it is. So that's, exactly what I would expect it to do. Cool. So let's play a pre-recorded cassette in here. What I really want to do, rather than test out that speaker further, is play something pre-recorded on the good speaker. So let's do that. Let it roll here. And I'm going to turn up these external speakers. Wow. I don't remember her voice being quite that high-pitched. Let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit more. I don't hear any terrible wow and flutter. I mean, it doesn't sound super great. I'm not that familiar with the pitch of Cyndi Lauper's voice. I'm going to put in Michael again, just because I am familiar with the pitch of his voice. Yes, the wrong side here. So this is... It's not that far off. It doesn't sound that bad at all, actually. That's a trippy camera effect. It looks like it's rewinding really slowly, but it's actually going pretty rapidly. It's just the shutter speed is almost identical to the speed of the rotation, so it looks like it's still... Did you guys see that YouTube video of a helicopter that the shutter speed of the camera is identical to the rotation speed of the blades? So it looks like the helicopter is not... The blades are just still. It's crazy. It's actually not half bad at all. It's not half bad at all. Back at it again with everybody's favorite German marching band music. Keep wanting to hit that for the stop. I wonder if that's out of habit. Is this? It's because the stop is over here on this one. It's interesting. I mean, it's, listen to how, depending on what I'm touching, you get kind of, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but okay, it's the antenna. You get a little bit of hum when I touch the antenna. Somehow that's picking up, creating a short. Yeah, I mean, it's adequate. It sounds pretty good. As I quickly accumulate a mess here, let's go ahead and test with an external microphone. Shall we? Just going to rewind this. And we'll use this vintage Panasonic microphone. We've used it before. It's pretty reliable. Sound quality is pretty dang good. And let's go ahead and test. Okay, this is a microphone test of the Retekess TR606 cassette tape recorder using an external microphone. The internal microphone sounded like kind of a built-in internal microphone and wasn't that exciting. So what if you wanted to do a little bit of dictation with a little bit higher sound quality? Maybe this would be a good solution. Also, you could, in theory, feed it audio, like music, out of a device. I don't have anything with a mic output level right this second. Actually, the 8-track player could probably do that. Well, actually, anything with a headphone jack output could, now that I think about it. Anyway, that's a test for another day. But let's test the basic voice functionality on this and see how it works. Okay, so rewinding once again. Now I'm going to plug back into the good speakers. I want to see how good the sound quality on recording voice can get. Now keep in mind that the speakers are 3 feet away and around the corner a little bit, so it's you get an idea though. You're in the room with me, you'll get an idea. So here we go. I'm going to turn the volume up on this to about 80%, and here we go. See how good that mic input sounds. Of the Retekess TR606 cassette tape recorder using an external microphone. The internal microphone sounded like kind of a built-in internal. So it's terrible. Actually, I almost prefer the built-in one more so. Well, let's listen on the speaker. Terrible. Terrible. So this isn't going to be recording like super high fidelity for you. It is definitely for basic dictation functions. If you choose to use the record, that's fine. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. No shame whatsoever. I like the form factor a lot. I don't like these external antennas. I know you have to have them because of the speaker, but you could get rid of the speaker and the antenna for all I care. Honestly, I'm not going to be using it for that. And that's one reason why I like this guy. Is the form factor is smooth. I don't even know if this had a belt clip. I don't think this even had a belt clip. I always take those off. I'm never wearing this thing on my belt. It's got a good form factor. And this does too, for the most part. I really like it. It's got kind of a matte finish. A word on the recording before we wrap it up here. The reason why these just don't sound good when you're doing that any kind of recording on these is, for the most part, modern cassette tape record mechanisms use a DC bias. And if you want to learn about DC bias, check out our AC/DC bias show that we did a couple months ago, and you can learn about what that means. But with a DC bias, it's pretty poor quality. That being said, you can have DC bias sound a lot better than that. But I'm going to go ahead and recommend it for those of you that still like it for what it does. It's a good player. I wouldn't recommend recording on it. It's a good radio, portable radio, and a neat little device for listening to tapes if you don't mind the mono. And I personally don't mind the mono. So link down in the description below. Let me know your comments down below. I know you're not going to like the mono head, so you don't need to declare that. You can if you want, but tell me something else. Tell me something I don't know. Anyway, that's going to do it for now, guys. Happy record hunting. We will see you tomorrow.